Come on, Daniel, you are late. Jonas Tramontina runs through the mansion corridors looking for old clothes. Daniel, 8 years old, appears holding a torn t-shirt. Dad, will the game really work? Yes, son. Today we will find out who really has a heart. But why can't we go in normal clothes? Because when people see us well-dressed, they act differently. Today we will see who truly helps. Jonas takes soil from the yard and smears himself. Daniel laughs while his father messes up both their hair. Now yes, no one will recognize us. They take the simplest car from the garage and go to prejudice. Jonas chooses a corner on the sidewalk near the subway exit. Remember the plan. We are hungry and have nowhere to sleep. The first people rush by. A woman in high heels averts her eyes. A man in a suit throws a coin without stopping. An hour passes. Daniel becomes discouraged. Dad, are people really bad? No son. It is just that everyone is in a hurry. But we will find someone special. Another hour passes. Several people throw coins without looking. Others pretend not to see. Daniel is becoming sad when a woman stops in front of them. She is young, in her early 20s, wearing a blue cleaning uniform and worn sneakers. Her face looks tired but her eyes are kind. Are you hungry? Jonas and Daniel are surprised. She is the first person who really stops to talk. The woman kneels down to their level, not caring that her pants will get dirty on the ground. Wait here a moment. She opens a worn purse and counts coins and crumpled bills. 14 reis and 25 cents. It is all I have for the next 2 days, but... She looks at Daniel with affection. A child cannot stay hungry. Daniel whispers in his father's ear. She is like mommy from heaven. Jonas feels his heart tighten. This woman just gave all her money to strangers. Thank you, miss. What is your name? Julia. Julia Pereira. And you? I am Jonathan. And this is Daniel. Julia smiles at the boy. Hi, Daniel. How old are you? 8. Aunt Julia. What a polite boy. There is a bakery on the corner. Buy a snack for Daniel, okay? She stands adjusting her bag. And you? Will you not have lunch? Julia shrugs. I will manage. What matters is that the child does not go hungry. I have to get back to work or my boss will kill me. But when I leave at 6, I will come back here to see if you need anything else. Jonas cannot believe it. She not only gave all her money but also promised to return. Thank you very much, Dona Julia. You are an angel. Imagine. I only did what anyone would do. People help people, right? Julia enters the commercial building waving. Jonas pulls Daniel. Come on, we need to change quickly. In the car they put on clean clothes. In 5 minutes they look normal again without a trace of dirt. Let's go inside where she works. I want to see what kind of person she is when she is not helping beggars. At reception, Jonas asks where the cleaning company is. 3rd floor. But they are working now. Just a quick question. Upstairs they find Julia talking to a big grumpy security guard. Please, Mr. Marcos, do not expel them. They were a father and son, poor things. The boy is so small. Julia, you know it is an order from administration. Beggars drive clients away. I know, but when I leave I will help them find a place to sleep. Just do not expel them now. And if the administrator sees I lose my job, I will take responsibility. If someone complains, I will say I asked you to let them stay. Jonas and Daniel listen hidden behind a column. You gave them money, right? I did. All the money from my lunch for the next 2 days. But what could I do? The child looked like he had not eaten in a long time. Julia, you are too good. You hardly have money for yourself. If we do not help when we can, who will help? The guard sighs. All right, I will let them stay until you leave. But if anyone complains, I will handle it. Thank you, Mr. Marcos. You have a heart of gold. Julia goes back to work pushing a cleaning cart. Jonas watches her work. She cleans each desk with care. She organizes everything with respect. Daniel pulls his father's sleeve. Dad, are you crying? Jonas wipes his eyes. It is because we found her son. The person we were looking for. At 6 sharp, Julia leaves the elevator. She is more tired with a sweaty uniform and aching feet. Even so, she stops at the lobby. Mr. Marcos, are they still outside? Yes. The father asked me to thank you. They managed to buy food for the boy. That is good. I will stop by before going home. Julia leaves and looks for Jonas and Daniel. She does not find them in the morning spot and becomes worried. Jonas makes a quick decision. Daniel, come on. Let's talk to her. They approach. Julia turns surprised. Wow, what a difference. You are clean with good clothes. Did you manage to shower somewhere? Yes. An acquaintance let us use his shower. Jonas lies feeling terrible. That is good. And did you buy food for Daniel? Yes, we did. The boy ate well. Daniel looks confused with the lies but stays quiet. I'm very glad. And now, do you have a place to sleep tonight? We are still a bit lost. I am from Campinas. I came looking for work. My name is Jonathan Silva. I am a salesman, but I have been unemployed for some months. Julia nods. It is hard indeed. Even more with a child. Do you have somewhere to stay tonight? Actually, no. We were seeing if we could find a shelter. Look, I do not have much space at home, but I have a couch in the living room. If you want, you can sleep there tonight. Tomorrow we will see how to solve it. Jonas is shocked. This woman is offering her own house to strangers. Are you sure? We do not want to bother. Imagine. People help people. And Daniel is polite. He will not give trouble. Daniel smiles. And Julia, you are very nice. How sweet. Do you like cartoons, Daniel? I do. Especially Spider-Man. Cool. I have cable TV at home. You can watch while I make dinner for you. Jonas remembers the promise he made to his wife 2 years ago in the hospital. Lucia pale in bed holding his hand. Jonas promised me one thing. Find a real mother for Daniel. Not a woman who wants our money. A real mother. I promise love. The memory passes quickly. Jonas looks at Julia talking to Daniel about cartoons and feels that he found what he was searching for. Donna, Julia, are you sure it will not bother you? Yes. And stop calling me Senora. I am 26 years old. Sorry, Julia. That is better. Let's go, my house is far. We will take the bus. On the trip, Jonas watches Julia greet the driver, help an elderly lady play with a crying child. Julia's house is small, 2 rooms and an alley. Simple but clean and organized. Sorry, it is small, but it is clean and has everything you need. It is perfect, Julia. Thank you so much for receiving us. Imagine. Sit on the couch with Daniel. I will make dinner for you. Jonas observes the house. No luxury, but arranged with care. Plants in the windows, family photos, colorful cushions. Dad, Daniel whispers. Why do we not tell the truth? She is nice. Jonas does not know how to answer. How to explain to a child that they are testing someone's kindness by pretending to be poor. It is complicated, son. We will tell. But at the right moment. When? Jonas does not know. He only knows he is falling in love with a woman who does not even know his real name. 3 months later. Jonas pretended he found a job as a salesman and that they live in a boarding house. In reality, he spends every free day with Julia. Daniel adapted to the double life. At private school, he is the millionaire's son. With Julia, he is just Daniel, a normal boy. Today is Sunday. Jonas is at Julia's house helping with lunch. Jonathan, stir the beans while I season the chicken. Jonas stirs the beans while watching Julia. She turns simple ingredients into a tasty meal. Julia, can I ask you something? Of course. Why did you help us that day? Honestly, Julia, stop seasoning the chicken. Do you want the pretty answer or the real one? The real one. Because I have been in need, Jonathan. Real need. I know what it is like to be hungry, to have nowhere to sleep. Her eyes fill with tears. When I was 15, my mother died. My father had died when I was a baby. I went to live with an aunt who did not want me. She made me work and kept my salary. And how did you survive? By working at anything I could find. Cleaning, cooking, sales. I lived in a shelter until I managed to rent this little house. Did no one ever help you when you were in need? Some people did, yes. Humble people who shared the little they had. That is why when I see someone in need, I cannot just walk by. That is why you helped us. Because I know life can change in an instant. Everyone deserves a chance. Daniel runs in. Mommy, Julia, the cartoon ended. Julia laughs and hugs the boy. Then let's have lunch. Mommy, Julia? Jonas repeats, surprised. He started calling me that last week. Julia blushes. I told him he didn't have to, but I like calling her Mommy, Julia. When you marry her, she will be my real mom. Jonas and Julia look at each other, not knowing what to say. Daniel, go wash your hands. Julia says, still blushing. The boy leaves. Julia and Jonas are alone in the kitchen. Sorry, I didn't tell him to say that. No need to apologize. Jonas moves closer. Actually, I've been thinking about it too. Really? Julia, these past 3 months have been the best of my life. You made me remember what it is like to have a family. Jonas is sincere. Even while lying about his identity, his feelings are true. Me too, Jonathan. You and Daniel filled my life with joy. They kiss for the first time in the small kitchen with the smell of lunch in the air. After lunch, they go to the rooftop. Daniel plays with his toy car while Jonas and Julia talk. Julia, have you never wanted to leave here to go to a better place? This is my better place. Julia points at the houses around. This community took me in when I had nothing. Donna Francisca lent me a pot when I moved in. Mr. Antonio gave me food on credit when I was broke. Here we are like family to each other. When someone is struggling, everyone helps. When someone is happy, everyone celebrates together. Jonas never thought of that. In the mansion he barely knows his neighbors. You are special, Julia. I'm not. I just learned that people help people and that money is not everything in life. Jonas feels a stab of guilt. He is lying to the truest person he has ever met. Julia, I need to tell you something. What? Jonas stops, unable to. I love you. Julia smiles. I love you too, Jonathan. They kiss while Daniel shouts with joy as he plays. For the first time in 2 years, Jonas feels complete. But deep inside a voice whispers. How to tell the truth without losing everything. Jonas decides to confess that day. He cannot stand the lies anymore. He arranges dinner at a simple downtown restaurant. Daniel is excited because Jonas said that after dinner he would share the special secret. Julia arrives looking beautiful in a dress Jonas has never seen. Wow, you look beautiful. Is that dress new? Yes, I bought it this week. I spent money I didn't have, but I wanted to look nice for you today. Jonas feels his heart tighten. She spent money she didn't have for him without knowing he could buy 1,000 dresses like it. You are always beautiful. You didn't need to spend money. I wanted to. You deserve it. At the restaurant, Daniel is impressed. Dad, this place is so fancy. There is even a waiter with a tie. Julia laughs. It is fancy indeed. You shouldn't have spent so much, Jonathan. Jonas takes a deep breath. Julia, I need to tell you something very important. What is it? You are acting strange. It is about who I really am. Daniel shifts in his chair. Now you are going to tell Dad. Dad. Julia repeats confused. Daniel, why did you call Jonathan Dad? Jonas takes her hand. Julia, my real name is not Jonathan Silva. It is Jonas Tramontina. Jonas Tramontina? What do you mean? I own Tramontina Construtora. I am a millionaire, Julia. Julia's face goes pale. She pulls her hand away. What? That day in the square, Daniel and I were doing a test. We disguised ourselves as beggars to see who really had a good heart. Julia stares, unable to process. You were pretending. You lied to me all this time. Julia, I can explain. She stands trembling. You lied for 3 months. You made me a fool. It wasn't like that. Daniel stands scared. Mommy, Julia, don't be mad. Daniel, you knew too? Julia asks with a broken voice. The boy looks at his father, unsure of what to say. Julia, sit, let me explain. Explain what? That you played with me? That you made me an experiment? I never played. I fell in love. How can you talk about love? You don't know me. You only know an idiot who believed your lies. People start looking. Julia notices and feels humiliated. I gave you all the money I had. All of it. I went hungry to help. And it was all a lie. Julia, you don't understand. I do understand. She grabs her bag, tears streaming down. I understand that you are a rich man who had fun making a poor woman look like a fool. Mommy, Julia, don't leave. Daniel cries. Julia looks at the boy, her heart breaking. For a moment she hesitates. Daniel, my love, Mommy, Julia has to go. But you said you would be my mom forever. Julia sobs. I'm sorry, my love. I'm sorry. She runs out, leaving Jonas and Daniel at the table. The boy cries loudly. Jonas pays quickly and leaves with Daniel. He looks for Julia, but she has already disappeared in the crowd. Dad, why did Mommy Julia leave? Because Daddy made a big mistake, son. At home, Gelson Tramontina is waiting in the living room. He sees Jonas enter with Daniel crying. What happened? Why is the boy crying? Nothing you need to know. Jonas, I am your father. I have the right to know. Daniel stops crying. Grandpa, Mommy Julia left. She found out Daddy lied. Mommy Julia? Who is that? Jonas sighs. A woman I met. A special woman. What kind of woman? A cleaning lady. Cleaning lady I love. Gelson's face turns red. You are dating a cleaning lady? Not anymore. She ended it. Gelson gives a cold smile. Good thing this nonsense is over. Father, don't talk like that. Jonas, you are heir to an empire. You can't play Romeo and Juliet with a maid. She is not a maid. She is the most incredible woman I have ever met. She was. Now it is over. That is for the best. Jonas takes Daniel and goes upstairs, leaving Gelson alone. Gelson stands still thinking. He picks up the phone. Hello, Sonia. I need you to investigate a woman named Julia Pereira. A cleaning lady. I want to know where she lives, where she works, everything. And I want it by tomorrow morning. Gelson hangs up with a malicious smile. If his son has no sense to end this story, he will take care of it. The next morning, Gelson is in his office when Secretary Sonia enters with a folder. Mr. Gelson, here is the information on Julia Pereira. Close the door and tell me everything. Sonia sits. Julia Pereira, 26 years old. Works at Brilho Total Company. Lives in Capeo Redondo. And her family? Orphan since 15. No relatives. Earns minimum wage, struggles financially but has no big debts. Gelson shakes his head. Perfect to be a gold digger. She must have seen Jonas and thought she struck luck. Actually, sir, Sonia hesitates. Everyone speaks well of her in the community. She helps neighbors and takes care of other people's children. That is just an act, Sonia. Poor women who get close to rich men only want one thing. Gelson goes to the window. My son is naive. He thinks people are good. But I know how the world works. What do you want me to do? I want you to go to the company where she works. Introduce yourself as a housewife looking for a cleaner. Offer her a job. But why? If she is far from Jonas, she will forget him. And if she is close to me, I control the situation. Sonia writes it down. How much should I offer? 3,000 per month. Much more than she makes. She will not refuse. And if she suspects? Of what? You are Mrs. Sylvia, wife of a businessman. Nothing unusual. Gelson smiles maliciously. And Sonia, do not mention my name. This is our secret. Meanwhile, Julia is at Dona Francisca's house, her 70-year-old neighbor. Girl, what's that look? You didn't sleep at all? Julia's eyes are swollen from crying. I couldn't sleep, Dona Francisca. I kept thinking about everything. Tell me properly. Yesterday you just came crying. Julia tells the whole story. The meeting in the square, 3 months of dating, the discovery of the lie. He deceived me the whole time. Made a fool of me. But wait. The man lied about money, but did he lie about his feelings too? How can I know? If he lied about one thing, he could have lied about everything. Dona Francisca shakes her head. Julia, I saw you these 3 months. You were happier than ever. And Daniel? He was pretending too. Daniel is just a child. Exactly. Children can't pretend. If he called you mommy, he meant it. Julia wipes her eyes. But how can I trust someone who started everything with a lie? I'm not saying you should forgive blindly, just that maybe things are not so simple. They are simple. He is rich, I am poor. To him I was a joke. Someone knocks at the door. Dona Francisca opens and sees a well-dressed woman. Good afternoon. Do you know Julia Pereira? That's me. Julia stands. Do you need something? Good. I'm Sylvia. I'm looking for a cleaning lady to work in my house. Someone recommended you. And who recommended me? Sonia improvises. Dona Marcia, who works in the building where you used to clean. All right. Julia doesn't remember but doesn't question. The job is Monday to Friday, 8 hours a day. I pay 3,000 a month. Julia's eyes widen. 3,000? That's right. It's a big house, but I travel a lot. Most of the time you will be alone. Dona Francisca nudges Julia. Girl, 3,000 raise. Julia really needs money. She lost her job because she missed work to be with Jonas. Do you need references? No. Dona Marcia already spoke well of you. Can you start tomorrow? Julia hesitates, but necessity speaks louder. I can. Sonia gives the address in Murumbai. 8 o'clock sharp. Ask for Mr. Gilberto. After Sonia leaves, Dona Francisca celebrates. 3,000 raise, Julia, that's more than double. It's strange. Why would someone who doesn't know me pay so much? Stop being suspicious. You deserve this chance. Julia smiles for the first time. You're right. I will take it. Meanwhile, Jonas is in the bedroom with Daniel. The boy keeps asking about Mommy Julia. Dad, aren't you going to get her back? It's not that simple, son. Mommy Julia is mad at me. But you can apologize. I tried yesterday, remember? She wouldn't listen. Daniel stays quiet, thinking. Dad, why did you lie to her? Jonas sighs. Because I wanted to be sure she liked us for real, not for the money. But she helped us when she thought we were poor. Doesn't that prove she is good? Jonas is surprised by his son's logic. It does prove. So why don't you go after her and admit you were stupid? Dad, if you don't get Mommy Julia back, I'll be sad forever. Jonas hugs him. All right. I'll think of a way to talk to her. Promise? I promise. But Jonas has no idea how. The next day, Julia arrives at 8 at the Murumbai mansion. It is huge with gardens and an electronic gate. The guard calls inside. The new cleaner is here. She enters through the service door. A well-dressed 50-year-old man with a stern face receives her. Are you Julia? Yes, sir. I'm Mr. Gilberto. I will explain the rules. Julia does not realize, but it is Gelson Tramontina in disguise. He changed his haircut and wears different glasses. First, here we work properly. No slacking. Yes, sir. Second, I am very demanding. If I tell you to do something 3 times, you do it without complaining. Julia finds the tone strange but needs the job. Third, 3 living rooms. Much bigger than anywhere she has worked. Start with the dining room. I want everything shining. Julia takes the supplies and begins. She cleans the mahogany table, wipes each chair, organizes the china cabinet. An hour later Gelson returns. What kind of cleaning is this? Look here, a tiny spot. Julia looks. It is microscopic. Sorry, Mr. Gilberto. I'll clean it again. Do it right the first time. Do everything again. Julia repeats all the cleaning. Another hour of work. Gelson returns and finds another flaw. The chairs are not aligned. And there is dust on the chandelier. But I cleaned the chandelier. Are you contradicting me? No, sir. Sorry. Julia cleans again. Her back already hurts and it is only 10 in the morning. At lunch Gelson tells her to eat in the service area. The employees' food is in the fridge. 15 minutes. Julia finds only a simple sandwich and juice. She eats quickly and goes back to work. In the afternoon Gelson invents another humiliation. Julia, I dropped a plate in the kitchen. Clean it. In the kitchen food is scattered on the floor. Obviously thrown on purpose. Clean it well. I don't want a single crumb. Julia kneels and cleans everything. Gelson watches with a cruel smile. People like you are born to serve people like us, aren't they? Julia stops and looks at him. What did you say? Nothing. Keep cleaning. On the bus home Julia calls Dona Francisca. How was the first day? Hard. The boss is very demanding. But it's okay, right? For the salary it's worth it. I guess so. But Julia has a bad feeling. On the second day Gelson increases the persecution. The bathroom in the suite is filthy. Go make it shine. Julia goes up. The bathroom is clean but she does the job. When she finishes Gelson shows up with dirty shoes and steps on the wet floor. Look at this mess. Do it again. But you just dirted it. Are you accusing me? Julia takes a deep breath. No, sir. I'll clean it. On the third day it gets worse. Today I want all the windows washed inside and out. There are more than 50 windows. Julia works under the hot sun. In the afternoon Gelson throws dirty water on a clean window. Oops, what a mistake. You'll have to wash it again. Julia looks at him with tears in her eyes but says nothing. What's the problem? People of your class can't complain about honest work. Julia clenches her fists but continues. She needs the job. Gelson thinks in a week she will be so broken she won't even remember my son. At the end of the day Julia comes home exhausted. Girl, what's wrong? You look terrible. Dona Francisca, this man is not normal. He humiliates me all day. Every rich boss is a bit strange. You just have to endure. It's not just strange. It's like he enjoys watching me suffer. Julia doesn't know she is right. A week later Julia is cleaning the living room when she finds a photo on the table. It is of a small child about 5 years old with curly hair. She picks up the photo and her heart stops. It is Daniel. Found something interesting? Julia turns. Gelson is at the door with a malicious smile. This child, I know him. You do? Gelson enters the room. Interesting. Where do you know my grandson from? Your grandson? Julia feels her legs weaken. You are. Gelson Tramontina, Jonas's father. Pleasure to officially meet you. Julia drops the photo. You knew who I was? Of course I did. Do you think it was a coincidence? But why? Because I wanted you to know your place in the world. Gelson approaches, intimidating. My son was deluded with you. But I know what you are. An opportunist who saw a rich man and thought she hit the jackpot. That is not true. Isn't it? Then why did you accept working here for 3,000? Why didn't you refuse when I offered more than you are worth? Julia has no answer. That's what I thought. You are like all the others. You only think about money. You don't know me. I know your type very well. My son is naive but I know how the world works. The front door opens. Jonas comes in shouting. Father, I need to talk to you about... Julia. Jonas stops in the middle of the room shocked. Julia, what are you doing here? Working for your father. Where else would a cleaning lady be? Julia's voice is full of hurt. Son, Gelson says theatrically, this is Julia, an excellent employee, very dedicated. Jonas looks from his father to Julia. Father, you knew it was her? Of course, and I hired her for that reason. What do you mean? Because I wanted to show you both what her place is in our family. Julia picks up the bucket and rag. If you will excuse me, I need to finish my work. Julia, wait. Jonas tries to speak. We have nothing to talk about, boss. You said everything yesterday at the restaurant. But I can explain. Explain what? Here's the full English rewrite of your text in a single flowing narrative. Who brought me to your father's house just to humiliate me even more? To show that I'm just a maid? I didn't know you were working here. You didn't know? Julia laughed bitterly. Of course not. Why would a millionaire care about a poor maid? Gelson watched, satisfied. Julia? Jonas tried to approach. Will you listen to me? No. Julia stepped back. I've heard enough. I've listened to lies for 3 months. But, not anymore. Now I know my place. Your father made it very clear. Julia went to the kitchen. Jonas followed. My father doesn't represent what I believe. Doesn't? Then why didn't you say anything when he told me my place is to serve you? Jonas was left speechless. That's what I thought. Julia shook her head. You're all the same. We're not. Yes, you are. The only difference is that at least your father is honest about his prejudice. Julia gathered her things and headed for the door. Where are you going? Away. I'm not going to keep being humiliated by you. And the job? Julia paused and looked at Jonas. You can keep the job. I may be poor, but I still have dignity. She left, slamming the door. Jonas stayed in the living room with his father. See, Gelson said. I told you she only wanted money. At the first difficulty, she abandoned it. You did that on purpose. I did, and I would do it again. Now you've seen her true character. Jonas looked at his father with disgust. The only character I saw was you humiliating a hard-working woman. Jonas, I don't want to talk anymore. Jonas left, leaving Gelson alone but satisfied. Julia would never want anything to do with your son again. In the following days, Gelson put the second part of the plan into action. He knew Jonas still loved Julia and might try to win her back. He needed to poison both sides. Gelson went to Capello Redondo, parked the luxury car far away, and walked to Julia's house. Julia, this is Gelson Tramontina. Julia opened the door with a scowl. What do you want here? I want to talk. Can I come in? You can speak right here. I came to tell you something important. Julia crossed her arms. What is it? My son is engaged to Helena Davila. They are getting married in December. Julia felt a stab in her chest but didn't show it. And what does that have to do with me? Nothing. I just thought you should know so you don't get your hopes up. Gelson took out his phone and showed photos. They were images of Jonas with a beautiful blonde woman at social events. These photos were from last night. They attended the opening of a restaurant together. Julia looked at the photos. Jonas was smiling next to the woman. They looked at ease. As I said, it's just so you don't get deluded. I'm not deluded about anything. Great. Then we understand each other. Gelson left, leaving Julia devastated. She didn't know the photos were from 2 years ago before he met her. That same day, Gelson sought Jonas at the company. Son, I need to talk about that maid. I don't want to talk about Julia. But you need to know something. She's spreading that you dated her. Jonas looked up. What? She's saying you promised to marry her, using your name to get things. What kind of things? Credit from the store. I'm getting calls from people collecting her debts. Jonas frowned. I can't believe she would do that. Jonas, you're naive. She saw an opportunity and is taking advantage. Gelson showed papers. Look here, 3 loans in your name. She forged your signature. The papers are fake, but Jonas doesn't know that. She said you were going to marry and you'd pay later. Jonas took the papers, incredulous. I can't believe it. Believe it. And there's more. She's telling the neighbors that you're the father of the child she's expecting. What child? She's pregnant, Jonas, and spreading that you're the father. Jonas went pale. Pregnant? Yes. But don't worry, I've already investigated. The father is a guy she dated before she met you. Jonas sat in shock. Now you see why I didn't want you involved. People like that only bring trouble. I can't believe it. Jonas, you met her pretending to be poor. Now she's taking advantage to get ahead. Jonas was confused. On one hand, he didn't want to believe it. On the other, the evidence seemed convincing. What should I do? Nothing. Ignore her completely. Soon she'll get tired and look for another fool. Meanwhile, Julia was at Dona Francisca's house. He showed photos of Jonas with a beautiful woman. They're getting married in December. Oh girl, what sadness. I knew it, Dona Francisca. A rich man doesn't marry a maid. But you said he loved you. Well, Julia laughed bitterly. He was just playing with me. Now he's back to reality. And if you go talk to him and explain your side? There's no side to explain. He lied. I found out. It's over. Julia wiped her eyes. It's better this way. I was never going to fit into his world. Don't say it like that. It's the truth. I'm a maid. He's a millionaire. That doesn't exist in the real world. Julia didn't know that Jonas was suffering as much as she was, and that all the information was lies from Gelson. The villain's plan was working perfectly. 2 weeks later, Gelson realized that the plan wasn't complete. Jonas remained sad. He asked about Julia at work. Daniel kept crying, asking for Mommy Julia. I need to make a final move, he thought. Something that makes Jonas truly hate her. He called Sonia. I need one more favor. What is it, sir? I want you to find Julia again. Invent any story and bring her here. She won't want to return. But yes, offer 5,000 for weekend cleaning. A poor woman won't refuse. On Saturday, Sonia rang Julia's doorbell. Julia, im Silvia. Remember? Julia opened suspiciously. What do you want? I have a proposal. Weekend work. 5,000 for 2 days. Julia widened her eyes. 5,000? Yes. My husband is throwing a party Monday. I need the house to be perfect. Julia hesitated. She knew it was risky, but 5,000 was a lot of money. What kind of work? General cleaning. Polish silver, crystals, organize everything. Heavy work but well paid. And Mr. Gilberto will be there? No, he traveled. Just you and me in the house. Julia took a deep breath. I accept. On Saturday morning, Julia arrived at the mansion. Sonia showed her what to do. Start with the dining room, then the living room. Mr. Gilberto wants everything perfect. I thought he traveled. He did, but left instructions. Julia started working. She cleaned the entire room. Polished every silver item. Organized the crystals. In the middle of the afternoon, Sonia disappeared without warning. Julia continued alone. At 5, Gelson appeared in the room holding a very expensive gold watch. Julia, I'm glad you came. Julia tensed. I thought you traveled. Change of plans. I came to get some things. Gelson placed the watch on the table and left. Continue working. Don't worry about me. Julia finished the room and went to the kitchen for materials. When she returned, the watch was gone. Strange, she thought. He must have taken it. At 6, Julia was finishing when Gelson returned, accompanied by Jonas. Son, I came to show you something important. Jonas entered and saw Julia. Julia, what are you doing here? Working. Mrs. Sylvia hired me for special cleaning. Which Mrs. Sylvia? Gelson interrupted. Jonas, it's not for that I called you. He looked at Julia pretending to be concerned. Julia, where is the watch I left on this table? What watch? A gold watch I put here before leaving. Very valuable. I don't know. When I returned from the kitchen, it wasn't here anymore. Interesting. Gelson pretended to think. It was just you and me in the house. Julia became nervous. Are you insinuating I took it? I'm not insinuating anything. I'm just stating the fact. The watch is missing. Jonas watched, confused. Can I search your bag? Gelson asked. Yes, search everything. Julia picked up the bag and threw it on the table. Gelson opened the bag and rummaged through it. Suddenly he pulled the gold watch out. Look what I found. Julia froze. I didn't put that there. Someone placed it. Oh really? And who would that be? You put it there. Me? Gelson pretended to be outraged. Why would I do that? Jonas looked at the watch in his father's hand, then at Julia. Julia, how did this watch end up in your bag? I don't know. I swear I didn't take it. Jonas, Gelson said sadly, I'm sorry you had to see this, but now you know who she really is. I didn't steal it. He set this up. Jonas looked into Julia's eyes. For a second he hesitated, but the weeks of lies from his father took effect. Julia, I'm disappointed. I thought you were different. Jonas, do you really believe I would do this? The evidence is here. Julia felt the world collapse. So that's it. After everything we went through, you believe your father and not me. Julia, no. She grabbed her things. No need to say anything more. I understand everything. Julia went to the door. Where are you going? Away. And this time it's forever. She left, slamming the door. Jonas stood with his father. Son, I know it's hard, but it was better to find out now. She seems so sincere. People like that are good at pretending. That's why I warned you from the start. Jonas shook his head, confused and devastated. Come on, let's go. Gelson put his hand on his son's shoulder. Tomorrow buy a cell phone for Daniel. It'll help him distract himself. They left the room. Gelson hid his smile from Vittoria. His plan worked perfectly. Now Jonas would never want to see Julia again. Outside the mansion, Julia walked down the street crying. She felt she had lost everything. The love of her life and trust in a world where she believed good always prevailed. But what she didn't know was that an 8-year-old child was listening from the stairs. And Daniel Tramontina had just discovered that Grandpa was a very bad person. A month after the watch trap, Julia was in a desperate situation. Gelson had spread that lie across the entire city. No company wanted to hire her. I'm sorry, Julia, but I can't give you work, said Ronaldo, owner of a small business. I received calls saying you steal from your employers. But, Mr. Ronaldo, you've known me for years. I know, but I can't risk my company. Julia left devastated. It was the 5th company to reject her that week. At home, Donna Francisca was worried. Girl, you're not eating properly. You're too thin. I'm not hungry. How aren't you? You've barely eaten in the last few days. Julia could only get occasional cleaning jobs for 15 or 20 reis. Barely enough to buy food. Donna Francisca, I think I'll have to go back to the countryside. What do you mean? I can't get work here anymore. I'll have to leave. But girl, your life is here. What life? Nobody gives me a job. I'm struggling. Julia felt a strong pain in her stomach and got dizzy. Donna Francisca ran to support her. Julia, what's wrong? I'm a bit dizzy, must be hunger. Donna Francisca made tea, but the dizziness didn't pass. Julia fainted on the couch. Help. Someone help me. Neighbors took Julia to the health center. When was your last period? The doctor asked. About 2 months ago, doctor, but it must be stress. I'll order a blood test. Based on the symptoms, you might be pregnant. An hour later, the result confirmed it. Julia was 1 month pregnant. Doctor, are you sure? Absolutely. Congratulations. Julia didn't know whether to cry with joy or despair. She was pregnant by Jonas, but he didn't even want to see her. Doctor, what if I'm not able to raise this child? You need to eat properly. The baby needs nutrients. But I have no money. The public health system covers prenatal care. But nutrition needs to improve urgently. Julia returned home with the test in hand. So what did the doctor say? I'm pregnant, Donna Francisca. Pregnant? By Jonas? It must be him. Donna Francisca hugged Julia. What joy. Jonas, you need to stop being depressed over that woman. Dad, I loved her. You loved a lie. She only wanted your money. Even so, it's hard to forget. Forget it. Helena is interested in meeting you. Daniel stands at the door, listening, deciding not to show the recording yet. I want to understand better. I don't want to meet Helena or anyone. Jonas, you have responsibilities. You can't keep suffering over a maid. She's not just a maid. Was what? A gold digger. Daniel grips his phone, recording this conversation too. Dad, sometimes I think you overreacted. Maybe Julia didn't steal. How not? I took the watch from her bag. Yeah, but it seemed a bit odd. Are you doubting me? No, it's just nothing. I'm your father. I only want the best for you. Daniel records everything and quietly leaves. In his room, he plays the recordings again. Grandpa is lying to Dad and spreading lies about Mom Julia. Daniel doesn't know what to do. He's just a child against a powerful adult. But one thing he knows, Mom Julia is good and doesn't deserve this. I'll find out more and prove that Grandpa is a liar. Daniel puts away the phone. His secret mission has begun. 2 months later, Daniel is increasingly sad. He doesn't eat properly, doesn't play, spends all his time in his room. Jonas is worried. Daniel, what's wrong? You're acting strange. Nothing, Dad. How nothing? You barely left your room all week. I was playing with my phone. But, son, kids need to play in other ways. Run, play ball. I don't feel like it. Jonas sits on the bed. Daniel, you're still thinking about Mom Julia. Daniel looks with sad eyes. I always think about her. Son, we've talked about this. Dad, what if she didn't steal? Oh, what if Grandpa was wrong? Jonas is surprised. Why are you saying that? I don't know, just a question. Daniel, your grandfather saw the watch in her bag. But what if someone put it there? Son, who would do that? Daniel almost speaks but stops. Not the right time yet. I don't know, just imagining. Jonas hugs his son. I know you liked her. Me too. But sometimes people disappoint us. Dad, do you still love her? Jonas hesitates. It's complicated. But do you love her or not? Daniel, tell the truth. Jonas sighs. I do, even knowing she deceived me. Daniel becomes excited. Then why don't you go after her? Why can't I anymore, son? Too much has happened. But if you love each other, she doesn't love me anymore. After everything, Daniel hugs his father. Dad, I'm sure Mom Julia still loves us. The following week, Daniel starts getting seriously ill. He coughs constantly, has a high fever, and struggles to breathe. Jonas takes him to the doctor. Doctor, my son has a terrible cough. The doctor examines Daniel. It's pneumonia. He'll need to be hospitalized. Hospitalized? Yes, his lungs are compromised. At the hospital, Daniel worsens. The fever won't go down. He deliriously calls out, Mom Julia. Where's Mom Julia? Jonas stays by his bedside. Son, Daddy is here. I want Mom Julia. She sang to me. Daniel, she can't come. What? She doesn't love me anymore? Jonas doesn't know how to answer. He sees his son weakening. Doctor, will he be okay? Julia. Could we bring her? Jonas is conflicted. It's complicated. Mr. Jonas, your son could be at risk. If there's anyone who can give him strength. Jonas leaves desperate. He calls his father. Dad, Daniel is very sick. He only calls for Julia. And you're thinking of calling her? I don't know what to do. The doctor says he could die. Jonas, don't do that. But if Daniel will be okay. Dad, and if he's not? Will I forgive myself? Gelson gets nervous. If Jonas calls Julia, the plan falls apart. Son, you're desperate. You're not thinking clearly. Maybe it's time to think with your heart. Jonas hangs up. He stands in front of the hospital, needing to make a decision. He returns to the room. Daniel is worse, almost unconscious. Mom, Julia, please come back. Jonas can't take it anymore. Nurse, I need to leave. Of course, sir. We'll call if anything. Jonas goes straight to Capello Redondo. Pride is gone. Only fear of losing his son remains. He knocks. Donna Francisca answers. Jonas? Donna Francisca. I need to speak with Julia. Sergeant. She's not here. She went to work. Where? At Donna Carmen's house in the Jardins. Jonas grabs the address and runs. At Donna Carmen's house, Julia is cleaning when the employer shouts. Julia, there's a man here to see you. Julia goes to the door and sees Jonas. Her heart races. Jonas, what are you doing here? Julia, I know you hate me, but Daniel is very sick. Daniel? What happened? Severe pneumonia. He's hospitalized and only calls for you. Julia pales. Is he okay? No. The doctor said he could die. Julia doesn't hesitate. Take me to the hospital now. You're going? After everything? Jonas, I love that boy more than my life. Of course. Donna Carmen appears. Julia, go. I'll cover for you. It won't be deducted from your pay. In the car, Julia asks, how did he get sick? I don't know. He was very sad. Stopped eating? Playing? Sad why? Jonas looks at her. Because of you. He hasn't stopped asking about you for a day. Julia feels her heart tighten, thinking of the 4-month-old baby in her belly. At the hospital, Julia rushes to the room. Daniel is pale, hooked to machines. My God. Daniel. She takes his warm little hand. Daniel, it's Mom Julia. I'm here, my love. Daniel opens his eyes slowly. Mom Julia? You came back? I did, my prince. And I won't leave until you're better. I thought you didn't like me anymore. Julia holds back tears. How could you think that? I love you more than anything. Really? Then why did you leave? It was an adult problem, my love. But now it doesn't matter. Daniel smiles for the first time in days. You'll stay here? I will. You'll have to drag me out. Jonas watches from the door. In 5 minutes, Julia achieves what the doctors couldn't. Daniel reacting. Mom, Julia, sing the song I like. Of course, my love. Julia softly sings a lullaby. Daniel relaxes and sleeps without delirium. The doctor arrives impressed. Wow, his vitals improved a lot. Doctor, will he be okay? Julia asks. If it continues like this, yes. What did you do? Mom, Julia arrived. Jonas responds. Then she'll have to stay at least until he recovers. Julia spends the night singing, telling stories, talking to Daniel. Jonas sits in the armchair watching. He sees how Julia cares for the boy with true love. How could someone who loves so much have stolen? He wonders. On the second day, Daniel is already better. He plays with Julia, laughs, eats properly. Mom, Julia, why did you and Dad fight? Julia looks at Jonas. It's complicated, my love. But you love each other, right? Daniel. I know you love each other. I saw it in your eyes. Julia blushes. Jonas too. Son, it's not that simple. Why not? If you love each other, marry and that's it. Because some things happened. Not what things. Things you won't understand. Daniel gets serious. Dad, can I tell a secret? What secret? Can it be in front of Mom Julia? Sure. I know Grandpa lied about her. Jonas tenses. Oh, I heard him on the phone. He said Mom Julia was a thief. But he said it's not a lie. Well, not entirely. Jonas feels the world spin. Are you sure about what you heard? I am. And I recorded it. Recorded? Daniel grabs the phone. Want to listen? Jonas takes it with trembling hands, listens to the recording, and is shocked. My God. Daniel, when was this? Right after Mom Julia left. Julia hears and freezes. So it was a setup. Julia, Jonas doesn't know what to say. You don't need to say anything. I know you believed your father because he's family. But I should have trusted you. Jonas, forget it. The important thing is Daniel. I won't forget. Jonas takes her hand. Forgive me. I was an idiot. Jonas, forgive me, please. I love you. Julia looks into his eyes. I love you too. I never stopped. So you're getting back together? Daniel asks, excited. Son, it's complicated. It's nothing. You love each other. I love you. Done. Julia laughs. If it were that simple. A simple yes. Mom, Julia marries my dad. Julia blushes. Daniel. Dad proposed to her. Jonas blushes too. Son, it's not like that. It is yes. Jonas looks at Julia. Julia, don't you want to marry me? Jonas, are you asking because Daniel told you to? No, I'm asking because I love you and don't want to live without you anymore. Julia hesitates. There's so much to tell. Jonas, I need to tell you something. What? Julia takes a deep breath. I'm pregnant. Jonas freezes. Pregnant? 4 months along. The baby is yours. Daniel jumps on the bed. I'm going to have a little brother? Yes, my love. Jonas processes the information. Why didn't you tell me? Because you hated me. You'd think it was a lie to get money. Julia. Jonas takes her hand. Forgive me for everything. For all the doubts, all the suffering. Forgive me too for hiding the pregnancy. They kiss for the first time in months. She's already stressed about the wedding, but she needs to know. What? Because you are a family now. A family doesn't hide secrets. Jonas is impressed by his son's wisdom. You're right. That night, Jonas goes to Julia's house. Hi, love. What's up? You look strange. I need to tell you something. Julia gets worried. Did something happen? It's about my father. He hasn't given up. What do you mean? Jonas explains about the recordings. Julia turns pale. He wants to make up things about me? It seems so. Jonas, what if he succeeds? What if he invents that I have debts or that I was ever in jail? Julia, calm down. How can I stay calm? If he spreads lies again, no one will believe me. Jonas hugs her. I believe you, Daniel believes, and that's what matters. But what if he manages to cancel our wedding? He won't, I won't let him. Jonas, I'm scared. I am too, but we can't live in fear of him forever. Julia places her hand on her belly. It's not just for me, it's for our baby too. That's exactly why we have to face him. Oh, we'll think of something. The next day, Daniel goes to Julia at home. Mommy, Julia, can I tell you something? Of course, my love. I recorded more things about Grandpa. More? Yes, he was speaking badly about you on the phone again. Julia looks sad. Oh, Daniel, but I had an idea. What idea? What if we show the recordings to everyone at the wedding? What do you mean? That way, when he tries to speak badly about you, we show that he is lying. Julia thinks. Daniel, is that right? Why wouldn't it be? He's the one doing wrong. Yes, but Mommy, Julia, you can't let him destroy your happiness again. Julia looks at her son. You're right, my love, but I'll talk to your father first. Okay, but don't let Grandpa win. I won't, my prince. Julia hugs Daniel, thinking about how to protect her family from Gelson's evil. That night, she tells Jonas Daniel's idea. Do you think he'll actually try something at the wedding? Knowing my father, he will. Then we need to be prepared. Oh, by bringing the recordings. If he tries to humiliate us, we show the truth. Jonas agrees. It's a good idea. At least we'll be protected. I hope we won't have to use them. I hope not either. But it's better to be prepared. The wedding day arrives. The church is simple but beautiful, full of flowers. Julia is radiant with 6 months of pregnancy, her dress perfectly adapted to her belly. Dona Francisca is crying with emotion. My girl is getting married, what a joy. Thank you for everything, Dona Francisca. You are my heart mother. And you are my daughter girl. Always have been. At the church entrance, Jonas waits nervously. Daniel stands beside him, all dressed up, with the phone in his pocket. Dad, are you nervous? I am, son. What? You love Mommy, Julia. I love her very much. But marriage is serious. I know. But you'll be happy forever. The music begins. Julia enters arm in arm with Dona Francisca. She's beautiful, emotional. Jonas can't breathe when he sees her. Wow. What a beautiful woman. That's my mommy. Daniel whispers proudly. The ceremony goes smoothly until the church door slams open. Gelson Tramontina enters with 2 large bodyguards. This ceremony cannot continue. He shouts. The guests are shocked. Jonas is furious. Dad, what are you doing? Saving you from a terrible mistake. Get out. Now. I won't leave. This woman is a fraud. Gelson approaches the altar. She tricked everyone. Julia turns pale. Mr. Gelson, please. Please, nothing. You don't know who she really is. Dad, stop. You've already done enough harm. Harm? I saved our family. Gelson turns to the guests. This woman has a police record. Murmurs spread through the church. Julia starts crying. She was arrested for theft. Here are the documents. Gelson shows papers to the priest and guests. And that's not all. Plays it loudly. Gelson's voice echoes through the church. If you don't find anything against her, make something up. This isn't the first time we've done this. The guests are shocked. Gelson tries to deny it. This is fake. It's not fake. Daniel continues playing. I want something to prove she isn't fit for my family. I don't care the cost. People start murmuring against Gelson. Julia stands up, still crying. Now everyone can see who the liar is. Julia. Gelson tries to explain. No. Now it's my turn to speak. Julia addresses the guests. Mr. Gelson invented that I was a thief. He put a watch in my bag to frame me. Jonas approaches his father. Dad, you embarrassed me for the last time. Jonas, no. I'm tired of your manipulations. Jonas turns to the guests. My father forged false documents against the woman I love. He lied, humiliated, tried to destroy our happiness. Son, I just wanted to protect you. Protect? You almost made me lose the most important person in my life. She's not bad. The one who's bad is you. Daniel approaches his grandfather. Grandpa, you are very evil. Mommy Julia is good and you keep inventing lies. Daniel, I don't want to be your grandson anymore. Gelson is shocked. How can you say that? Because I don't want to be the grandson of a liar. Julia approaches Gelson. Mr. Gelson, you hurt me a lot. But you know what? What? Even so, I forgive you. Forgive? I forgive. Because I don't want my heart filled with anger. I want to be happy with my family. Jonas approaches his father. Dad, you are no longer welcome in my life. Jonas, you can't say that. I can. You chose prejudice over love. Gelson is silent for a few seconds, realizing he lost everything. You will regret this. No, Dad. The one who will regret it is you. Gelson leaves the church humiliated, alone. The guests applaud Julia and Jonas. The priest, who watched everything silently, smiles. Well, now that the truth is revealed, can we continue the ceremony? We can, Father. Julia responds, radiant. Then, by the power vested in me by law, I declare you husband and wife. Jonas and Julia kiss under the emotional applause of the guests. Daniel jumps between them. Now we are a real family. The whole church is moved. Donna Francisca cries with joy. Finally, justice was done and love prevailed. 3 weeks after the wedding, Jonas and Julia are organizing her move to the mansion when they receive an unexpected visit. It's Police Chief Carla Santos, a serious but friendly woman in her 40s. Mr. Jonas Tramontina, it's me. I'm Chief Carla. I came because of an investigation. Jonas and Julia get worried. What kind of investigation? Jonas asks. About document forgery and defamation. What do you mean? We received a complaint with compromising recordings. Julia looks at Jonas. Recordings? Yes, of a certain Gelson Tramontina, arranging the creation of false documents against you. Jonas is surprised. Who filed the complaint? It was made by a lawyer on your behalf. Dr. Mendez. Jonas frowns. I don't know any Dr. Mendez. Daniel runs into the room. Hi, police aunt. Hi, my dear. Did you come to talk about evil grandpa? The chief smiles. Yes, I came to talk about him. I asked Dr. Mendez to help us. Jonas is surprised. Daniel, who is Dr. Mendez? He's my school friend's dad. He's a lawyer. I showed him the recordings and he said he would help. Julia is emotional. Oh, my dear, she says. The detective continues. Mr. Gelson is being investigated for at least 3 crimes: document forgery, slander, and defamation. And what does that mean? Jonas asks. He could face 2 to 6 years in prison. Julia is shocked. Prison? Yes, ma'am. His crimes are serious. But detective, Jonas intervenes, we don't want him to go to jail. What do you mean? He is my father and Daniel's grandfather. We don't want it to end like that. The detective is surprised. Even after everything he did? Even so. Would it be possible to make a deal? What kind of deal? He publicly admits he lied and pays fair compensation. In exchange for what? We won't pursue the charges. Julia agrees. I accept the deal too. Are you sure? He did so much harm to you. Yes, I'm sure. I don't want to carry anger in my heart, and I don't want Daniel to grow up knowing his grandfather is in prison. Daniel hugs Julia. Mommy Julia, you are so good. The detective shakes her head. You are very special people. Julia asks, how long does this kind of process take? Usually about 3 months for a full investigation, then another 3 months for the agreement if he accepts. And if he doesn't accept? Then he answers in court. It could take years. Jonas sighs, then let's wait. 2 months later, the detective returns with news. He accepted the deal. He accepted? Julia is surprised. Yes. He will publish a note in the main newspapers publicly apologizing and will pay you compensation. How much? 80,000 reais. Julia almost faints. 80,000? That's a fair amount for the moral damages he caused. Jonas hugs his wife. Love, you deserve this and much more. But it's a lot of money. It's what you're worth to me. Daniel claps. With this money, Mommy Julia can help a lot of people. Julia smiles. That's a good idea, my prince. The detective stands. Well, my work here is done. Congratulations to you. Thank you for everything, detective. Imagine, it was a pleasure to meet such a special family. After she leaves, Jonas hugs Julia and Daniel. It's finally over. Yes, Julia sighs. Now we can be happy. Forever. Daniel asks. Forever. A week later, Gelson's note appears in all the newspapers. I, Gelson Tramontina, publicly apologize to Mrs. Julia Pereira Tramontina for the false accusations I made against her. I acknowledge that I acted with prejudice and harmed an innocent, hard-working person. I deeply regret my actions. Julia reads the note emotionally. I never thought he would do this. Sometimes people change when they lose everything important, Jonas replies. I hope he really learned. 2 years later, Jonas and Julia are in the garden of the now renovated and more welcoming mansion. Julia carries Sophia, a 2-year-old baby, while Daniel, now 10 years old, plays with his little sister. Mommy Julia, Sophia wants you to see her walk. Julia laughs. I'm coming, my love. Jonas approaches and hugs his family. You all look so beautiful. We're happy, Julia replies. And I am too. The mansion has changed. Part of it was transformed into a community daycare that Julia runs with the help of professionals. With the compensation money and part of the company's profits, she created the Hope Foundation. Jonas smiles. Remember when we met? You gave your last 14 reais to 2 homeless people. Who would have thought one day I'd have money to help so many people? You've always had a rich heart, love. Daniel runs over. Mom, Dad, look. Sophia is walking alone. They run to the baby and Sophia takes a few steps before falling seated, laughing. She walked. Daniel shouts. Julia is moved. Wow, the baby is growing and so is Daniel. Jonas proudly says, Son, when I grow up, I want to help people like you do. That's great, son. And you know what? I got a card from Grandpa yesterday. Julia is surprised. A card? Yes. He said he misses us and has learned to be a better person. Jonas hugs the family. Who would have thought a test with homeless people would change our lives forever? The best test you ever did was to discover my heart, Julia responds. And I discovered that family is who truly loves you, Daniel says. Sophia claps in agreement. At sunset, the Tramontina family hugs in the garden of their home now filled with love, laughter, and hope. Finally, they all found their place in the world. Did you like this story? Do you think Gelson got what he deserved? And Julia, do you think she did the right thing for giving him? Tell me in the comments. Until the next story.